There were language barriers. If there was a total breakdown in communication, it occurred. From that point on, we managed to fix quite a bit of this. We did our pamphlets in both English, Spanish. We're trying to also get them now in Haitian, Creole. So we'll be able to have most of this corrected with the pamphlets. We've also got our code officers working Saturdays, both of them working on Saturdays right now, extended hours. We started with an education blitz. We're transitioning into a, lack of a better term, enforcement punitive section now, and that's for the whole month. Because I think we've done enough education, at least 2 weeks of it have been education. And if homeowners and contractors by now just want to continue to violate it, we need to correct that behavior. That's where we're at.
Okay, and Ted, do you have, I'll ask my question second. Ted, would you like to make any comments or ask Ben any questions?
No, I think it's understandable with, you know, the number of rule changes. I recall all of our heads kind of spinning when we were tweaking the rules. So there's just some time to understand the, you know, the moved goalposts and where the work can start and stop. It's interesting. I heard this morning, Ben's team must be out, because I heard from a local attorney this morning that a lot of her clients had visits. So, I mean, it was just some anecdote that there's people out educating and warning people about the new hours. And so I'm sure that'll all get smoothed out shortly. Thanks.
I was happy that an officer drove by me on Saturday and said, I just want you to know I'm here. And, you know, he said, we have found a lot of violations. So I think and I think, Ben, you're right. There needed to be, and I thank you, there needed to be education. I would like to make sure that they are caring, though, because as you said, especially in the Spanish, and if you're finding Creole as well, English, Spanish, and Creole, so at least for the first couple of months, that the officers can hand them something in writing, like that cheat sheet you came up with, or whatever it is that would be most effective. And then second, you know, the council, we've been talking about it, and I don't know that we can make a recommendation or not, but I really feel that pamphlet or whatever it is that you came up with really should be sent to all the owners. I think owners are thoroughly confused and they don't know how to guide. And a landscaper will say to me, well, the owner told me I need to come. And I need to come now, and I don't know what to do. So I think also having a way to get this to the owners is going to be very critical. I thank you. And I've also heard that they've had Ben, at least in the police department, that they've been talking about it at roll call and really going over all of this. So I understand there's been an incredible amount of education, because it has been a bit of a confusing change. And there was a little bit of confusion because people didn't realize, as Jay said, that we were still not allowing Saturdays and had not back with the old ordinance, but it was confusing that maybe we were just moving into the new. So I'm glad to see that this education is taking place. And I must say, I've gotten more calls from people saying they are very thankful to have quieter weekends. It's already been effective. I notice it when I'm walking in the streets, and other people are noticing it too. So I think this has been and will be something that's very beneficial to the quiet enjoyment of everyone's property. Ted, if you're okay, I'll make the motion just to, unless anyone else has comments, to defer the rest of the discussion until our next ORS meeting, or at the date that Skip has been able to study this and give us advice as to what we should maybe take out and what we can put in. So that would be my motion for the rest of chapter 42.
Great, second.
Article 5.
Ms. Ariscock,
Yes.
Mr. Cooney.
Yes.
And is there any public comment on this?
No one has indicated they would like to speak.
Okay, and I should say, for anyone who's here from the public who's not used to being on the meetings, there is a little raise your hand down in the bottom of your screen. If you press that antenna, it'll see that. There is also a Q&A, and you can write into the Q&A that you would like to speak. If you can figure out to raise your hand.
Sarah Skog,
Yes.
now we do have someone that would like to speak.
Okay, perfect.
Mr. Corey, please state your name and address for the committee.
John David Corey, 426 Australian Avenue in Palm Beach. And I figured I would take the opportunity to thank Julie and Ted, especially for spearheading sometimes thorny areas of the code and not always the most glamorous. But I mean, from a quality of life perspective, there isn't probably much that's more important than people's daily, wake up on Saturday morning and have a landscape truck, spraying ficus hedges next door, and you're like, it's not easy. I just wanted to only point out is the town used to have on their webpage, you could actually Google Palm Beach landscape times, and it was a one-page. Do you remember that, Jay? It was a one-page, black and white, and it had landscape at the top, or construction at the top, and landscape at the bottom. It was broken down by season. It was one page. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been updated or not, but is my go-to document. So
Yeah.
just
Thank you, Mr. Corey. Yes, that document has been updated. I'm actually looking at it right now, and I made some notes about what additional types of public engagement we can do to get this pamphlet into the hands, either physically or digitally, to as many people as possible. This is the pamphlet that Ms. Erskog was referencing. We have one for construction, and we have one for landscaping. It's a one-pager. It's front and back. And it's exactly that. It has the seasons. It's broken down into layman's terms. And Ben, if you need someone to translate this into Creole, I have someone on staff. So just let me know and we can have this in 3 languages.
And Jay, I think that John brings up a good point. If there is a way to title it and put it onto our website so that someone can Google, because everybody always Googles landscape hours, Jupiter, Palm Beach, whatever it may be. So that would be helpful so that someone can just put that in and find it on Google if possible.
Yeah, it's there. I just Googled it. You have to scroll down the search results. There's a lot, and it's buried. I think it'll end up getting back to the top as it's used. But we'll create we'll find some creative ways to get that more into the faces of people so they don't have to go looking for it.
And maybe on our website for now, we could have something, we do break down government, we do break down all these things. Maybe we could put something, and I'd like to hear what Ted thinks, that will allow someone to see it on that main screen so they can click right to it, because I think those construction hours and landscape hours are critical and
Yeah. I agree, and that's an easy fix. Antoinette's on the call here, and I'm looking at our residents drop-down menu. We have all kinds of quick links, and I think information about landscaping and construction hours, we can do quick links to these brochures. I think that's going to be the solution. So we'll take care of that.
Great, thank you. And thank you, John, for participating in your comments. Do you have anything else before we move on, Ted?
Nope.
Okay, so I think we will now move on to the review of draft ordinance to limit vegetation height adjacent to neighboring structures, which is old business A2. And Wayne, I think, is going to start this, or Jay, do you want to?
That's Wayne's got it.
Okay.
Oh, good afternoon. We've been talking about this issue since 2020. COVID sort of interrupted us for a while. It was brought to our attention by Stephen Jeffrey Greenwald, specifically with the iguanas accessing the roof of his accessory building and just the amount of damage that these critters can actually do. So we've looked at putting some different ordinances together in the past. We've talked about different options. I even remember the presentation with the jumping iguanas and trying to figure out what the separation distance was. And with your excellent suggestions at the last ORS meeting, we were instructed to take a look, we were asked to take a look at some of the existing code to see if this doesn't already exist or if it could be easily added to something that is already there rather than creating a brand new standalone ordinance and sticking it in chapter 66. So we took your advice. We went through and we looked at it. We have chapter 88, which is our property maintenance code, something we introduced back in 2019. And there are two sections of the property maintenance code, section 18-16, which deals with exterior property areas, and section 88-23, which deals with pest elimination. And my respectful suggestion to you all, if you're interested in moving in this direction, is we can simply add to these two sections a sentence that would read plants and plant heights that provide for rodents, iguanas, or pest access onto neighboring buildings shall be prohibited, or something very similar to that. And if this is the direction you would like to go or a concept you would like to deal with, we can easily draft the ordinance and bring it back to you, or simply take it right to town council for consideration if you'd like. But this really is a much better way in my mind of dealing with this. I also reference you to Stephen and Martha Greenwald's emails to us on this matter, November 29th, but due to the recent deferrals and change of direction, we have a January 31st email. And even the Greenwalds agree this is a great way to go, get away from a lot of the prescriptive language and simply just, place it in the property maintenance code. So if it's a problem, we have a way in which we can easily deal with it.
If you'd like, Ted, would you like, do you have any comments on this? I'll go to Ted.
I think this is we just needed to circle around to the ways that maybe weren't the best to handle this situation to come to a simple solution. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for all the legwork, Wayne.
Okay, you're welcome.
I would say the same. I think that, when I read it, pest elimination. So iguanas are included in pest, the word pest, right? Or no? I'm just looking at the titles. I'm just wondering, and maybe you're just going to come back to us and put in whatever you feel. I just want to make sure that iguanas would be included.
And they will be. They'll be included in both sections. I can put the draft ordinance together very quickly and get it to you at your next meeting. And if you like it, we'll take it right to town council.
I think this is the way to go. And I'm very happy that we're moving in this direction instead of the other, because we could have had some unintended consequences. So I think that, I think this is a great direction. Does anyone, I think Mr. Greenwald may be on this call. This Zoom meeting. Do we have anyone from the public who wants to speak, Antoinette?
He is, and yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Greenwald. Please state your name and address for the committee.
Yep, Stephen Jeffrey Greenwald, 128 Sea Spray Avenue, Palm Beach.
Good morning.
And I really well worded. Looked like whoever drafted this, I think it was Wayne, every last word, every word carefully, right to the very end. So it's well worded and it's brief, it's short, can fit in a section. I think it's very nicely worded. I would, it's up to you guys, but you may want to have it read for rodent, iguana, or other pest access onto neighboring buildings. I'd stick the word, because some people think iguanas are cute. They're like birds, they're like lizards, but until they have 40 feet of iguana feces on the roof after they're gone for a month or two, and it's really impossible to remove. And then it falls on your head when you're walking to your car in your garage, then they're not so cute.
And
pools.
Just so you know, I think we received your suggestion, and we had we would be adding that in because iguanas do not fall under rodents or the insect category. So thank you for catching that. That was a very good suggestion. Please go ahead. I just wanted you to know that they are going to, when Wayne goes and works on it, he's going to make sure that iguanas, that's why I was even asking about pest. Are they considered a pest? So he will come back with something that's all inclusive of iguanas.
Super. Thank you very much for taking the time on this, and on behalf of not just myself, but probably, it looks like it's getting to be a couple dozen people that I've